Hello and assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the AAA Right Direction for exams in September 22, and we're looking at the tip number 5, grab most of the professional marks. We know starting from September 2022 exams, the AAA paper will consist of 20 professional marks, and the student should be very clear how would you be going about demonstrating these 20 professional marks to aim at success. Already, the 4 marks available for communication skills are already covered in the tip number 4. Let's look at a holistic analysis of professional marks in the AAA paper. Now, when you look at the professional marks in AAA paper, there are 16 marks in the question number 1, 2, and 3, which are allocated to 3 very important skills known as analysis and evaluation, skepticism and judgment, and commercial acumen. And you have 4 professional marks for communication skill only in the first question. So that makes the 20 professional marks. Now, in the first question, when you are looking at the 16, when you're looking at these 16 marks, you have 6, 5, and 5. 6 of them are in the first question, and the remaining 5 and 5 is in the question 2 and 3. That's how you break down the 16 marks. Now, we know section B has 10 and section A has 10. And 4 of them are communication marks, which have already been covered. Now, what exactly you need to do to demonstrate analysis and evaluation, skepticism and judgment, and commercial acumen? We were talking about uplifting the answer quality in the previous tips as well. How would you be demonstrating them? What exactly you need to do within your answer? You have an incremental time. You have 2.44 minutes per mark. Now, in that incremental time, how would you be ensuring that your answer quality is uplifted and you are trying to demonstrate the skills in the red, because already the communication skill has been covered in the previous steps. Demonstrating professional skills, this is the minimum you should be doing, irrespective what the skill is. Proper calculation are shown where needed. Wherever there is a need to show a calculation in the AAA paper, and where there is a possibility on the basis of the given information in the exam case study, and you can do the calculation, do it, and try to justify that calculation and try to blend that calculation within your answer. There might be a need to do the calculation in a risk question or in a going concern question. You might need to find some ratios, any sort of thing. You might need to calculate the finance cost. You might need to calculate the effective tax rate. At times, there is a data given in exam paper which help you calculate something. So if that is possible, do the calculations and show them and reflect them in your answer. Trends are identified and used in answer where necessary. So if you have financial information given current year, last year, you can identify the trends. You can reflect upon the trends in your answer. You can try to demonstrate what the trend is telling, and that can become part of your answer. Isolated trends, isolated calculations, no use, no professional marks. Case linkage needs to be stronger. Now, if you are linking the case study with your answer and your case linkage is very strong, the sync of the case study with your answer is very strong, you are increasing prospects of fetching most of the 20 professional marks. So that is extremely important. Proper judgments are exercised. Wherever you need to exercise judgments, exercise them. For example, writing a proper action for an ethical threat, or writing the right opinion when there is a material misstatement and the management is not rectifying it. What is the right impact on the audit report? That is a very careful judgment. Judgments about whether something is material or immaterial. You need to take careful judgments. Whether the evidence gathered by the audit team is sufficient and appropriate, you need to demonstrate a sound judgment there as well. So proper judgments. Prioritizing risk is all what is needed throughout the paper. So you need to prioritize risk right in the first question. You need to ensure that you're prioritizing risk. because I've guided you in my September 22 webinar, the criteria of prioritizing, how you should go about prioritizing. So you need to watch that, particularly the day two of my September 22 webinar, because that really gives you a good dimension of prioritizing the audit risk or prioritizing the risk of material misstatement. That is extremely critical in the first question. So you should know the logics, the way to prioritize in a computer-based exam. Appropriate justifications and bases are given for your assessment. If you are justifying something, if you believe this is a qualified opinion, then justify why. Or if you believe the evidence is insufficient, then justify why. If you believe this is a self-interest threat, justify why. Your assessments, your bases, your conclusions are important. Put conclusions where needed. There are lots of requirements in the AAA paper which ask you evaluate, assess. So if the question is saying evaluate something, assess something, so automatically you have to give a conclusion at the end of the requirement. Even in the question number 1, when we're writing the briefing note, we do give in a conclusion. Calculating and commenting on materiality throughout the paper where needed, that is extremely important. And you also know the revised statement of the partner in the question number 1 about materiality, which I've already covered in my September 22 webinar, is also very important as part of calculating and commenting on the materiality. Taking sound judgments, whether to accept an engagement or not, whether you want to accept a new client or not, you need to take a sound judgment. If a question is asking, comment on the matters, whether to accept the new audit client. So whether means you are taking a judgment, whether you are accepting or not, a careful decision, whether you are accepting an engagement or not. There might be a commercial acumen associated with rejecting an engagement. You need to look at the commercial realities as well. If an engagement is accepted, there is a commercial opportunity for the audit firm. If the engagement is rejected, you are losing the commercial opportunity. But you need to bargain between the risk and rewards, right? In taking a sound decision, there might be a high risky engagement. The client might be involved in money laundering or tax evasion or something like that. And the previous auditor is telling you everything bad about the client. So in that sort of a context, you need to reject the client, even though you are declining the commercial reality. So that's where commercial acumen comes in. Your sound commercial acumen comes in. Putting the right action in context, taking the right action for the ethical threat or for anything in the AAA paper, but the action has to be right in context. Recommending appropriate procedures which are specific to case, justification of why it is an ethical threat with a sound safeguard, following the signpost under each requirement. Under each requirement, examiner at times tell you a note. And in the note, the examiner tells you, do this, don't do this. Follow the notes carefully. Don't go against the signpost. Structure the question number 1 in the briefing note. That's part of the communication skill already covered. Use the logical flow of the answer, A, B, C, D. Use headings and subheadings. Now, if you try just to brush over this list I've covered in the tip number 5, along with my webinars, you would be in a better position to demonstrate professional skills, in a better position fetching most of the 20 professional marks. I normally tell my student, aim for 15 out of 20. That should be aimed at, and that's not difficult considering you have a 25% extra time per technical mark you're writing in the AAA paper. So please ensure you have a careful demonstration of 20 professional skill marks in the AAA paper in your September 22 exams to be successful. Wish you success. Tip number 5, take care. Goodbye and Allah Hafiz.